Choose your battles carefully. I just read about this recently on the BBC. In the south of France, there was a man in the area of the Dordogne. He was about to sit down and have his dinner. He was an 80-year-old man, and the French like their food, everybody, and there was a fly that was going around his kitchen. And he was a little bit annoyed by this fly, so he chased the fly, and he got a rolled up piece of newspaper, and he started swatting and swatting and swatting. And what he didn't realize, there was a gas leak in his house, and there was an open flame, and he knocked over the open flame, and he blew up his house. He blew up his house. Now, thankfully, he got out with light injuries. We do not have an update on the fly. We do not know how the fly is going. But the eventuality was his house was burnt down. Why? Because he was chasing a what? Chasing a fly. Everybody, you got to choose your battles carefully in life. What are you ready to burn the house down for? This is what this guy needed to do. I want to say this. It's not worth it for a fly. It's not worth it for a fly. Some people, I don't know if you've met them in life, they just like to go to war sometimes. They just enjoy battle, okay? They're only happy if they're in a fight. And that's what the Irish are like. That's why we're called the fighting Irish, okay? We're only happy when we're miserable. That's what the Irish are like. We're always picking a fight. And here's the danger with that. If the only tool you have is a hammer, everything becomes a nail. Did you hear that? If the only tool you have is a hammer, everything becomes a nail. And before you know it, you're in conflict with everybody. And there's times in life where we need to go, do you know what? Is this really worth it in life? And I've got some questions for you. And I'm going to put this, these are like what I would call 8 wise questions that you should think about before you go to war. Are you ready, everybody? Before you choose your battle, answer this question. Am I yielding to Scripture, or am I trying to bend Scripture to me? Do you know, there's some people, and this is the truth, everybody. Can we just get real here for a second? They got a political stance and they try to get biblical justification. And that's not what it's about, everybody. We start with the Bible and then everything works out from that. Have I become a single issue Christian? Have you ever met some people and the only thing they can ever talk about is the one issue in life? They always go on, and no matter what you talk about it, they circle and they come back to that one issue. Am I a single issue Christian? Is this for personal win or is it for the greater good? Am I taking this too personally? Am I reacting or am I responding? And look at this one here. Am I so right I'm actually wrong? Have you ever experienced that in your life? Where you're so right and you've got it all together, but your attitude has gone so far south that it's nothing like Jesus, but you're right in your head, but your attitude has made you so wrong. Is my background blurring my vision? Is this a hill I want to die on? And has winning become more important than making change? You see, Paul and Barnabas, they went to what's known as the Council of Jerusalem. They headed south, they made it to Jerusalem. We're going to read about it in a moment. And they got an incredible win. But sadly, they didn't always stick to this advice. See, sadly for a guy called Paul, he chose the wrong battle. On this issue that we're going to read about, yes, they were actually choosing the right issue. They were saying that for the gospel of Jesus Christ, we cannot put more burdens on the Gentile. They don't need to obey the old law. Why? Because of Jesus on the cross, they got freedom. It was a battle that was worth fighting. But at the end of the chapter, a time later, Paul and his friend Barnabas, the BFFs, best friends forever, they fall out. The next thing that happens in Acts chapter 15 is that these two guys have a fallout, and it's all over a young guy called Mark. Paul thinks he's a bit of a loser, but Barnabas really believes in him. And this is the sad thing. Later on in life, when Paul is a little bit older and wiser, he starts to really believe in Mark. I'm going to encourage you with this, especially in this season, everybody. Come on, Baysiders. We need to choose our battles very, very carefully. And not just in this sort of cultural moment. Can I just say, in your marriage and in your family, I know rightly that mom, you got a big issue with a certain kid in your house, or husband, you think that you should go to war with your wife. I'm just going to ask you, is this the time? Have you thought about it wisely before you go to battle?